welcome back to another Digital Moment with Terina. In today's video, I am going to answer the question, will I get an employment ban if I resign during my probationary period? Here in the UAE, persons are employed either on a limited contract or an unlimited contract. And the employee usually gets 3 to 6 months probationary period. And during this period, if the employee decides to break the contract or to resign from the contract, he or she has the freedom to do so, or by law, he or she is able to do so. So the question is asked, will our employment ban be placed on an employee if they resign during their probationary period? Here in the UAE, it is possible. And as you guys know, one thing about me when it comes to these videos, I am going to be reading from my notes. I want to give you credible information. And as always, please go ahead and do your own research, okay? I'll be sharing some link in the description box so that you can do further reading. And feel free to leave your comment and let me know what you think about these employment bans in the UAE. In an article posted by Kajil Times, written by a lawyer in Dubai, A. Matha, an employee who is under a limited period of contract may not be able to terminate it until it expires to avoid any possible employment ban of 1 year. So what that is saying that there can be an employment ban placed on an employer or placed on a person up to 1 year in the UAE. That means if the person resign or break the contract, he or she may be unable to work again within the UAE or within a certain Emirates within 1 year if the employer chooses to place a ban on that person. So in accordance with the Article 128 of the Employment Law, which states where a non-national employee leaves his work without a valid reason before the expiry of a contract for a limited period, he may not, even with the employer's consent, take up other employment for 1 year, okay, from the date on which he left his work. It shall not be lawful for any other employer who is aware of the fact to recruit such employee, keep him in his service before the expiry of such a period. So as I said earlier, I'm going to be sharing the link with you so you can go ahead and do your own reading and your own research, okay? I'm also going to be posting a link where you can go to the official website of the UAE, the labor law, and you can read up on these different articles as well, okay? So this is not something that only one category of worker may experience. It can be based on anybody. But when you go and read up on the labor laws in the UAE, there are different levels of skilled workers, okay? And if you fall in different categories, these bans may not affect you. Just to highlight what I just said, so where a non-national employee leaves his work without a valid reason before the expiry of a contract for a limited period, an employment ban may be placed on him or her. However, an employer and an employee can mutually agree, okay, to terminate a limited period of employment contract after the completion of 6 months. A new work permit may be granted to an employee upon the termination of the said employee's employment relation in the following instances. And I'm going to mention some terms that will apply to the contract. And this is in accordance to Article 1 of the Ministerial Decree number 1094 of 2016. You can find a copy of this article in the Kajil Times, and as I mentioned earlier, I will be posting the link so you can read again. And this was written by a lawyer, Ashish Mehta, who is located in Dubai. Term contracts. The two parties, the employee and the employer, mutually agree to terminate the contract during the course of its term, provided the employee has completed a period of no less than 6 months with the employer who brought him or her from outside the state. These requirements shall not apply to employees that qualify for skill levels 1, 2, and 3, employees that qualify for skills level 4 and 5 if their new work permit are granted to work in works requiring skills 1, 2, or 3, and if they have required qualifications for such skill level jobs. Employees that qualify for skill levels 4 and 5 if their old jobs were inside the state and if they completed a period of no less than 6 months with the older employer. Another clause is employees who are on the sponsorship of their families and who satisfy the requirements of work permit. So this information that I just relayed to you, if you fall under this or it applies to you, then an employment ban may not be placed on you, or it will not affect you. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, you can do more research on this because I'll be sharing the links in the description box. Let's talk about the effect of a labor ban or employment ban on a visa. So whether it's your work permit or your residency visa, if an employment ban is placed on you, it will affect your visa. Based on information posted on the official portal of the UAE government in regards to the effect of a labor ban on a visa, the labor ban cancels the work permit of the employee. So upon cancellation, the respective employer must also proceed to cancel the residency visa of the employee since it was originally based on the work permit. However, if the banned person is on the sponsorship of his parents or family, he may maintain his residency visa, but cannot work or be issued another work permit for the duration of the ban. If the banned person is outside the country, no new work permit will be issued until the lapse of the ban period. So whether you are a teacher, a doctor, a skilled worker, once you are a non-national, once you are an expat working in the UAE, you need to be aware of these things, okay? They may not affect you based on your level of our skilled area or the category that you belong to, but you need to be aware of what is happening. How to check if a ban is placed on you? A person can check if he or she has a labor ban by calling the MOHRE hotline at 860, which is available 24/7 in several languages. A person may also contact the MOHRE through its other communication channels or through one of the Tajil centers. And you can do a quick Google search to find the nearest Tajil center to you in the UAE. So please be aware, please be informed, and Check the links that I will place in the description box, because you don't know what will happen. It may not happen to you, but it may happen to someone in your circle, so you can be that person of information, a source of knowledge to share with someone. So just to wrap things up, guys, a labor ban is imposed when the employee violates the provisions of the UAE labor law, or when he or she does not observe the terms and conditions stipulated in his or her employment contract. So make sure that you understand the terms in your contract. Whether it's a limited or it's an unlimited contract, make sure that you understand fully. And as I said before, I am sharing the links. I will share the links in the description box, so please do your own reading. I want to mention this as well, that the labor ban will affect your work permit. It cancels your work permit, okay? And it can also cancel your residency visa as well. How to cancel a labor ban? A labor ban cannot be canceled or waived against a sum of money. A ban is a provision of law against violations of public policies that cannot be compromised. Okay? Make sure you speak to your PRO for your school or whatever job you're doing. Make sure you talk to your HR manager. Find someone to help you. And guess what? You can always get in touch with the Ministry of Labor or the Labor Department, 800-60. You can always call them 24/7 to get more information. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing if you have not yet done so. Click that button, guys. I'm getting a tongue twister. Click that button, subscribe to my channel if you're finding value, if you're finding the information here helpful. Share it with someone. See you next time on another digital moment with Tarina.